Alright, this is the second video on page 232. We're going to do drawing number 2 today. I've already set my working directory, so I'm going to start a new drawing. I'm going to call it 2-32-2. Take off the default template check and hit OK. We'll pick millimeter parts solid since we have no measurements on here. We just got to make it look like the thing. And let's begin drawing. You'll learn a few new tools here that'll help make things a lot easier. So I'm going to draw first just a rectangle on the front plane. So I come over here on the front plane. You can go over here and pick it from the model tree, or you can pick it in the drawing. I pick it in the drawing. I will hit sketch, and then I will hit the sketch view button. One thing I'm going to show you today is the center line tool. I'm going to click right up here on center line. I'll click on that, and on this plane line running vertical, I'm going to let it snap to that. I got one end of my center line hanging onto my cursor, and one lock to that plane line, and I'm going to just drag it down until it locks straight up and down. And I'll left click to release. Now I'm going to put my rectangle in, corner rectangle. Now instead of starting right in this corner though, I'm going to start over in the left side, right on the horizontal plane line, come up, and then come over to my right, and you'll see these two little green arrows pop up on this top line. That means that this rectangle is perfectly centered on that center line. So it's perfectly centered between that plane. So once I see those green lines pop up, I'm going to left click to end. I'm going to go to the select, and now I'm going to change my dimensions. To drag my dimensions out where I can see them, I left click and hold and bring it out, drag it where I want it, and release the left mouse button out. I'm going to make this rectangle 200, and you'll see these little blue arrows are still there, so it put 100 millimeters on each side of this center line, and that's what we wanted. Let's make this 100, and we like that. 200 by 100, hit the green check, and let's extrude it. So we extrude it. Now we're going to do the same thing, like we put a center line between the left and the right. We're going to put basically center this between the front and the back. And how we do this is next to the 67.31 here, there's this little box here. I can drag down and I go to this one that looks like it's a dashed line right through the middle of my thing. I'll click on that, and you'll see now that this plane line jumped to the middle of my drawing, my extrude. Now this plane line is in the middle, and when I change this number, I'm going to change it to, let's say, 200, and I like that. You can see that that plane line stayed right in the middle, so I get 100 on each side of that plane line. Hit the green check. Let's do a default orientation. Now you can see what it looks like. Now we have a rectangle cut out, kind of running through the box, and then there's a circle in there, and then there's a wedge cut off each end. So let's draw that rectangle cut out in the middle first. I want to select the plane line right here. Should be, if I can get it, I can't get it. I'm going to come over here. It should be my right plane line. I'll hit sketch, sketch view, and it rotates and gives me an orientation like this. I have a plane line that's a reference line here, and I have a plane line that's a reference line here, and we want a reference line on the top of this as well. So I'm going to come over here to this button, references, click on this left side of my gray box, and now I have a reference line right there. And this was my reference line box. Close it. Now we'll draw a rectangle in here. It'll lock to my new reference line, so I don't have to worry about this coming up and above and making sure I cut out all the material. I can just do it right here. I know it's right on the top. Oh, I'm going to do one other thing first. I'm going to wheel mouse twice to get out of the rectangle tool. I'm going to put a center line on the horizontal this time, so I can do that boxing the same way. So I'm going to put a center line on the horizontal as well on this sketch. Now I'll go to rectangle, start drawing up here, drag it down. Then I see those little green lines pop up. I don't know if they're hard to see, but they're right there. Now I can drag this down. I can wheel mouse click twice to get out of the tool, or I can go up to the select tool to get my dimensions. I'm going to set my depth to 80, and I know this is 100, so that leaves me 20. I want to have 20 all the way around. This is 200, so if I go 160, because 20 on this side, 20 on that side is 40, so if I have 160, I should have 20 all the way around. Hit the green check, do a default orientation, extrude. Sketch number 2 was highlighted, I extruded that. I'm going to change that to go on both sides of the plane again, this dashed line right through the middle. And I have to be at least 200 millimeters to go all the way through. Remove material, and it cuts it out. Now let's put the circle in there. Same thing. You can do a default orientation. You can kind of see what this looks like, but that circle runs right down through here. So we'll go back to the right plane. Let's do a sketch view button, and now we'll put a reference line on here because that's where we want the center of our circle to be, is right on the top of this. So my center will lock to that now. I'm going to hit the close, go to the circle button, and come in here and draw a circle. Wheel click twice or once, and that one might work. I got to get rid of this bottom edge of this circle. Everything else can stay, but we got to get rid of the bottom edge of that. So let's go to the line tool. The computer knows that I want to lock to the edge of that circle and that reference line down here. So I do, and I'll just drag it over to the other circle edge and lock to that. Wheel click twice to get out of it. Go to delete segment tool, and let's take out these two edges below our original drawing. We like that. Let's change this to a nice even number. That will be a 60, let's say. That's good. That stayed all lined up because it knew it was locked to that edge. We'll hit OK. Do a default orientation and extrude. We're going to put it equal on both sides of the plane again. So we'll come down to this little button, turn it on, and make this 200. Now we have that. Hit the green check. Now you can see all we got left to do is remove these angled edges. To do that, I'm going to go back on my front plane. That's the plane because I want them to run this way. Front plane, sketch view. I'm just going to reference the top edge and the right side. I'm going to use the mirror function here again once I'm done with this. So I want the top edge and this right side edge, and that puts my reference lines in. I got green dashed lines there now. That's good. Let's just draw an angle in there. We're going to go right to this corner. It locks on that corner. I'll draw to my left. Doesn't matter where I go. I kind of look at the drawing. It doesn't come all the way to the bottom. Comes up. It's a little bit off the bottom, so we'll be a little bit off the bottom. When it snaps to that reference line, I'll left click to end that line, and then I'll finish right where I started. Wheel click twice. I'm out of it. I got dimensions. Let's change our dimensions to like 70. And our angle, let's say 50. That's good. We like that. We'll hit the green check. Default orientation. Let's extrude even on both sides of the plane. 200. And right now it's making it a solid, so we have to turn on the remove material button, and it cuts that little wedge out. Hit the green check. We got that. We like it. Let's flip that to the other side. We don't have to do a whole nother drawing. We can just mirror extrude 4. So we got extrude 4 highlighted. Mirror. It's asking us what plane does it want to flip onto the other side of. We want to flip it onto the other side of the right plane, so we click that. Our red box goes away, hit the green check, and we are done.